World War III. Are we headed towards World War III? A lot of people say yes. Uh, I'm not sure. But we got the United States is building a new airfield in the Pacific. So there's that to think about. Then you got NATO. NATO is increasing its rapid response forces. Currently, they got about 40,000 troops in that force, and they're going to increase it to 300,000 troops. So, that makes me think that NATO's thinking about getting ready for something, and of that 300,000 troops, I don't know how many are U.S. troops, but I don't know if the U.S. buildup of forces going on in the eastern flank of NATO right now, if that's part of that 300,000 force or if that's in addition to something separate from it. Then there's talk of different Asian countries forming a Asia version of NATO. And I heard the King of Jordan is talking about forming a Middle East NATO. So it sounds like countries around the world are considering aligning together. Looks like we have bifurcation of all the countries, or whatever you want to call it. The likes of China, Russia, North Korea, Iran lining up on one side, and NATO and NATO's buddies lining up on the other side. People are arming up. Germany just recently decided to beef up their military. And you got countries all over the world doing things in regards to arming up. So, a lot of people said from the get go with this whole Russia Ukraine situation that it's the opening salvo to World War III. So who knows what's going on, but all this going on, and a lot of shit's going to be hitting the fan worldwide with the whole food situation, and the energy situation is looking dire. The United States could take a lot of, just a few steps that would have a large impact in regards to the energy crisis that the U.S. is facing. It also would have a worldwide impact. I mean, the United States is sitting on tons of fossil fuels. The current administration and whoever's pulling its strings, in their opinion, fossil fuels are no bueno, and they use the pretext of saving the planet when we all know it's this. They think that it's a way for them to cause chaos and then step in and take more power and implement their commie regime. But other thing I saw this the other day, and this happened back in March, but I haven't heard anything from it up until yesterday. There's in March there was a rocket of unknown origin that crashed into the moon, and normally the scientists say that a crater is a single crater, one crater, but this thing created two craters. So they don't know why that happened. They don't know where this rocket came from. And I guess there have been different theories floated out as to what it could potentially be. And both, whatever those theories are, people claim no, that's not it. I guess one of them was that it was something to do with China. But my take on that is, because they're trying to say, oh, was it of extraterrestrial origin? I mean, anything's possible, but you think the U.S. government or the Chinese Communist Party is going to tell everybody, yeah, that was us, if it was them? No. They're not going to admit to it. So who knows what? There's probably some type of rocket that had some type of military application or use, and they don't want people to know about it, so they deny that it was them. But aside from World War III, we have chaos running wild here in the U.S. with the recent Supreme Court decisions and the people that don't agree with it flipping their lids. That's not surprising. You know, when things go their way, they'll tell you that their opponents are destroying our democracy. Meanwhile, when things don't go their way, they throw tantrums, they get violent, and they talk about the destruction of our democracy. But, you know, a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world. We're probably headed towards some type of worldwide conflict. If not that, then definitely some type of conflict within the borders of our country. Speaking of borders of our country, uh, the current administration doesn't do its primary job, and that's protect American citizens. It lets the floodgates open, and now you got a bunch of these illegal aliens cross the border and got cooked to death down there in Texas the other day. You know, I want to know where AOC is with her histrionics and crying. When she was down there with her faux tears back when Orange Man Bad was in office and saying that people shouldn't be locked up in cages, which happened under Obama as well. But, you know, nothing from her then and nothing from her now when the Biden administration is responsible for the death of, 50 some, what do you call them, WB, illegal aliens. But, you know, the chaos, these leftists love it because that's how they can, you know, let no crisis go to waste. So they try to implement their regimes whenever the shit hits the fan. But are we headed towards World War III? A lot of people think so. You know, is this nation on solid footing to engage in such a conflict? I doubt it. I mean, we got how you gonna fight a world war when your energy situation is no bueno? When you just kicked out probably the best of your military because they wouldn't take an experimental injection. And the military that remains spends more time studying about intersectionality, diversity, and all that woke bullshit. So, you know, that's all into consideration. Plus the fact that we've been sending a bunch of our equipment. I don't know if it's equipment we would use anyways, but from what I hear, some of it's old, but there's nothing in reserves to replace it. We've been sending so much hardware over to the Ukraine. You know, I think at some point, people got to accept the fact that this war of attrition, Russia's going to have the upper hand if they don't already. And that at some point, Zelensky over there needs to consider that maybe giving up a little bit of land in order to save his people. Because if they're going to fight to the end, then all those Ukrainians are going to be dust in the wind. I don't think they have the population to keep throwing into that conflict the way Russia does. But, you know, powers that be in the West, like the Biden crime family and the corrupt Euro trash, these so-called elites, they want to keep their money laundering scheme going on over there. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you all on the next one.